me hear you say. Let 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 me hear you say.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, blurs and nerds of all ages, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It is I, Navy Montel, your frosty bearded Blerdicorn here. Hopefully you guys are taking care of yourself. Do what I tell you to always do, because I promise you this is what's going to get you through the day or the week, okay? Hopefully you're washing these, covering this, staying as far away as you need to. Yeah, I know these are COVID rules, but they still work because people are nasty out there, y'all. Looking out for yourselves, your loved ones, and each other. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate this. The convos are live. You know, I got to put this banner up here. Hold on, where is it? Because, you know, technology and everything. Yes, the convos are live, ladies and gentlemen. Blerdicorn Convos are back, and I have gotten some amazing people lined up. But tonight, I've got one of the OGs of the space. You know what I'm saying? This is a cat, let me tell you, that has been in it as long, if not longer than me. But we have that same love. You know, we grew up coming into that particular era of time. We understand that being a blerd as a whole was a journey for us where technology was nowhere to be around. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. If you are joining me on YouTube, what is going on, everybody? Mal, I see you over there, sir. I see you over there. Thank you so much for coming up in here. Hold on. I gotta give my man Mal some props, because I might tell you, homie comes up in here. Let's go. And of course, he giving a shout out to the guest of honor himself. Yo, what is going on? Everybody, if you're over here on Twitch, from Twitch, thank you so much for coming up in here tonight. I try to be as consistent as possible, but, you know, the meds only go so far. And, you know, when you get caught up in either deck building for Lorcana like I do, or watching anime like I do, or reading comics like I do, time does get away. And today was my day off. So I had to do what I tell everyone to do. Just step back, take a break, relax and chill. Enjoy the time you have. Enjoy the time you have. People have been giving me lessons and blessings all week long. And I just say, you know, I thank the Lord up above for life, health, and strength, activity of my limbs, being able to step out of bed and walk to my door and go to work and enjoy the people that I'm around. It's a blessing, period. And if you are enjoying those blessings, do not take them for granted. I promise you, Karma is sitting here just like this. Let me pull my door box. She's going, he's not grateful. She wants a BBL. You know, anything stupid like that. So we're going to go out to there. What's this? FYI, shout out to the OG legends and icons of the game. Well, there are some who have been doing this for a minute and have not gotten their props. They have not gotten the attention that they deserve. They have not been able to genuinely be themselves. And that's what this space is. That's what the Blerdicorn Convos are about. That is what it means to be a Blerdicorn. To love what you love and elevate it to the next level. So people will not only see that you love it, but they know that you're not fake and you're fraud. But I digress. We're going to get some housekeeping out the way, because I'm excited to talk to my man here. Let me tell you, actor, pro wrestler, cosplayer, blerd, director. Oh my gosh, this man wears so many hats. How is his head handling all these hats? Yes. And let me tell you, before we got on, he was like, I should wear this hat. I should wear this hat. I'm wearing a headband. How much pressure can I have? Okay, I have a really tiny navy head, but I digress on that one. So as y'all know, the Blerdicorn Convos are live, and we want to support our blerd-owned businesses. Otaku Noir is definitely one of those businesses. They are coming out with their new box. I just got one of their boxes. I'm going to do an unboxing either later tonight or sometime over the weekend. And you want to definitely be a part of that. So let me move this out the way. It tends to get in the way. So if you want to go check it out, they're the only blerd-owned mystery box business in existence. And everything that they have in their boxes, they are curated from blerd creators. We're talking writers, artists, developers, apparel, you name it. And I just gave away the BlerdCon exclusive Otaku Noir box And the winner, hopefully, will be coming to my door over the weekend, because if he does it, I'm telling you, I'm keeping everything in there. I'm keeping the bucket hat. I'm keeping the cup. I'm keeping it all. So if you want to see what they're all about, go to taconoir.com. If you want to check out what they have, use the promo code Navy Montel to get yourself 10% off, and you help the channel. You definitely help us. And if you want to know how I'm able to wear these magnificent headbands, go to believeItorNot.com. Go check her out. This is one of my favorite people. And thanks to her, I've been able to stylishly hide my forehead and my bald spot for the past 3 years. She makes everything by hand, y'all. We're talking headbands, bonnets, do-rags, hoodies, shirts, all of that. She does it by hand. I've seen her work and she's magnificent with it. We want to support these BLERD owned, not only just a BLERD owned business, but a veteran owned business. She is retired Navy, just like your boy. And we are all about that. Oh my God. Wait, we got Vegas up in here? Hold on. You know, I got to give love to the people who pop up in here. What's up? Hold on here. Vegas, hey sweetheart, what is going on? What is going on with you? Thank you for popping up in here. To everyone who comes in here, if you don't feel like chatting, that's fine. But if you want to ask the guest of honor, the fellow conversationalist, if you want to talk to him and have questions for him, put them in the chat and I'll put it up on the screen. That way you can be seen, acknowledged, and I appreciate y'all for popping up in here. I got a couple more things to put out real quick. Let me get the text back up here. The next thing. Where is it? There we go. Oh, I got to take that out. I'm old. Don't yell at me. Okay, there we go. Let's hide that real quick. There we go. Join Blur Station. Blur Station is about to break out big time. If you are tired of giving your money to HBO Max, Amazon Prime, Paramount Plus, because Paramount Plus doesn't know what the hell they want to do, and they're screwing up big time. But you want to support the Blur creators out here. We're talking filmmakers, animators, writers, artists, whatever you want. Blur Station is doing that. We are going to be breaking out here very soon. We had a 2-day live stream from BlurCon that was welcomed by all. All of y'all came out and supported this effort, and we greatly appreciate that. I promise you what you're doing is not falling on blind eyes or deaf ears. Okay, so definitely join Blur Station. And thanks to my compatriot, my fellow Blerdicorn and fellow comic nerd, Lady Mandalore of Roomful of Blurs, she hit me to something. Let me take this off because it's a bit much there. If you want to support your boy, go to coffee.com and go ahead and do a donation. Anything that y'all put, and I've told this on my Twitch stream, anything that's donated to Blerdicorn, anything to Navy Montel, it all goes back into the channel. So if you want to help me get better tech, maybe get access to better software and be able to pay my due, pay my fee, so I can go ahead and make sure these convos pop out even more often, by all means, if you want to contribute, you can do that. If you want to do it any other way, just reach out to me. It's like, hey, if you want to do this, that's cool. I don't require anything. I've been doing this for 13, almost 14 years. And one of the things that I've always said is you want to support fellow creators who have a solid message, who have a solid philosophy, who love and enjoy what they do. They're not trying to insult or disparage anyone. We have enough bullying in the nerd space as it is. I don't like it when Blur decide they want to come and try to pop off. Okay, so with that being said, definitely come check me out. If you want to hit that link, by all means, I will put it in the chat here because I'm old. And you know how old people are. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So I will put that in the chat so you guys will know that if you want to support your boy, by all means, go to coffee.com and contribute to whatever you like. If you have any questions, let me know. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the distinct honor and privilege of welcoming someone who has been pivotal in the BLERD space. I'm talking pro wrestler, director, actor, cosplayer, and most importantly, one of the biggest dudes I know. Let me tell you, I'm like this big next to this guy, okay? But he's got a heart as big as him. Ladies and gentlemen, what is that? No, unmuted is not live. What are we doing here? See, this is when you know technology. Get out of here. Get out of here. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this right. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the man of many hats, but only one head. Eric Moran, also known as The Smoke. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? How you doing today?
I was sitting there going, how do I want to introduce him? How do I want to? And when you had the conversation, we talked earlier about the hats. I said, oh, that's perfect. Oh, that's perfect. Y'all, let me tell you, he brought like 2 or 3 hats. Like, should I wear this one? Should I wear this one? I was like, you only got one hat.
Oh my God. Well, it's just I like changing it up on different interviews and all, like, and I like making it, mix it up a little bit, have some fun, have some fun. Life is too short.
You are preaching to the choir on that one. Everyone is showing you number love up in here. I appreciate that. If you are here on YouTube or Twitch, please come and say hello. I tried to do it on Instagram, but Instagram doesn't like us being great. So that's fine.
Listen, I've been sharing the link to everyone. As soon as you popped up on my YouTube thing, I'm like, boom, 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 send out the link. While you're talking to the audience, I'm like, send out my link here, send out my link here. And then going on Instagram, send out my link, send out my link, send out my link. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't waste any time.
Is that why you were looking so serious, y'all? Because I can see him looking backstage, upper eyeballing the bowl of green M&Ms. Like, that bowl looks kind of mighty tasty over there.
Well, I can't touch the M&Ms because I'm on training, so I can't even touch them.
Oh my gosh, sir, sir. I'm gonna be like you when I grow up. And speak of the devil herself. Hold on. The founder, owner, and creator of Believe It or Not, Je suis très bonsoir, mon ami, je t'aime, escargot, goody goo goo, anything else like that. What's going on, love? As you can tell, I'm wearing one of her creations. I have not had a complaint at all for any of the things that she has made. I love her. If you ever get a chance, go check her out. She's dope. I'm not just saying it to plug. I'm saying it because we have to have more blurred-owned businesses that stand on business. Stand on business. Oh, she said, bon sommeil, cava. Yeah, I take your word for it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, here we go. She tries to throw some French at me. I'm a Spanish cat, so this is as good as it gets. It's like, bon some cava. Okay, so she did it with Lady Mandalore. It's like, oh, I want to be like them when I grow up. No, I don't. I don't want to be like them when I grow up. So, before we get started, hold on. Vegas even got a question before we can get out the blocks. Is Eric going to DreamCon?
That is up still in the air. There's a lot of cons. Everybody's been asking me if I'm going to be attending. Some I will, some I don't know yet, but I'll let you know. I'll be making some announcements. As a matter of fact, on your show tonight, I'm going to make an exclusive announcement. And I knew there was a reason why I haven't made the announcement yet, but I'm going to make an exclusive announcement on your show.
What? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it until just now. And I should have told you backstage, but I'm like, you know what? It's good that I waited. It's good that I didn't announce this to the public yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, we about to have us an exclusive.
Kind of making all these announcements for all these superhero movies and all this stuff. The Smoke's got his own CinemaCon announcement for 2026. So,
y'all, we about to have us a Blerdicorn Convos exclusive with the man himself. He's not a myth because he exists, but the legend, the man, the legend, the wearer of many hats, as you will. So. But before we go on, I have something that I don't know if he's going to be at MomoCon, but I will be at MomoCon next month. I will be doing press and stuff. But there is a segment that I have that I like to do with all of my folks who come on. We call it the Blerdicorn Florist Moment. This is my opportunity to give you your flowers. Because in this day and age, we got saints leaving all the time. People go through things and life happens. And I want to make sure that the credit and the love that you are due, you get. Now, even though we don't get the chance to chat a lot, right, you have made a massive impression on myself and a bunch of other people. Because, me as an OG Blur, just like yourself, it's always been that struggle for people to understand what it was for us growing up. But you have been so instrumental and inspirational to so many people as far as cosplay, as far as getting into film, being actors, dare I say, being a pro wrestler, and just putting yourself out there. I see your energy, and it is so dope. Anytime I'm around you, man, anytime I see you, it's like, what up, big dude? He's like, what up, man? What's going on? How you doing? How you living? That voice gets down here, okay? But that's that love.
What's going on, man? How you doing? What's up? What's up?
And it's so genuine. And you are by far one of the dopest people that I have had the honor to know in my years. And don't ever stop doing what you do, because people like you inspire the next generation to create and not rely on AI, but use your mind, use your brain, use what you've been given to create something that may not have even been conceived before. And you're in that place. You've done it. You've done things that people are striving to do now. So to you, my friend, I give you the biggest of compliments. Thank you so much for everything that you do for this space, for this community, and most importantly, representing the OGs. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely. Thank you. It means a lot. Thank you so much. It's greatly appreciated. It's so appreciated. You have no idea. Especially nowadays with everything that's been going on, it's nice and refreshing to hear that. It keeps the individual motivated, especially when they hear, they hear that. You know what I mean? It's very inspirational. So thank you.
No, man. I've always been one to give credit to people where it's due, especially if I know that you've been working hard in the space, creating content or elevating someone or motivating somebody or encouraging someone. And what a lot of people don't realize is that you do all of that because once upon a time, you were one of those folks just like I was.
Yes, I was. It's very true. And I in the past I've talked about that. When I have done appearances at Comic Cons, whether it's through my wrestling or through my cosplay, or even a little bit of my acting, when I've been appearing at different Comic Cons, and I have fans that remember me back in the early 2000s, early 90s, and they're coming up to me with DVDs of me and stuff they see me on shows. It's very humbling, but also I love giving back. And one of the veteran actors I appeared with back in the day was like, hey, you have a brand name. Your name is a brand. And I remember when he was telling me, and I was giving away autographs for free and stuff. And he was like, well, you can't, you got to make money off your brand. And I'm just one of those kind of people. I'm like, you got to understand, when I was going to these shows, I was the fan. And, I was the one. And I said, nothing more in the world meant to me if I had an actor, wrestler, whoever that was behind the table took the time to have a conversation with me, took the time to give me something for free. So it was very humbling. So, and at the same time, I had to make them realize, I'm like, you understand that I grew up on you. And I don't want to say the actor's name out loud, but I grew up on you, and you got to understand that you took me, you embraced me when I was, starting out and all. So, and he was like, well, you got a good point. You got a good point. But he understood because of my philosophy on it. He was going by the old way of how things were done, and how the new way of things are done. I'm a lot more grand. Now, I can't speak for any other celebrity, anybody who is behind or in the spotlight. I can't speak for them. I can only speak for myself. But from my experience, it's always good to stay humble.
Yes.
Because no matter how much you are at the top, eventually you're going to go back down. And when you go back down, people are going to either remember you for how you treated them. And I've said this 1,000 times. I'd rather be known than famous. I'd rather be, if I died tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Say that again. Say that again, brother.
I'd rather be that cat that was known and not famous. I prefer to be known, not famous. Because when you're known, people will end up still talking about you and everything else. When you're famous, that can only go so far. You're like, hey, remember that dude? Unless you're a Michael Jackson, unless you're a Prince, unless you are that kind of iconic person, that's one thing. But when you're someone that hit the spotlight, was in the spotlight, how did you treat people when you were up there? Whether you're a well-known cosplayer, whether you're a well-known wrestler, or actor, or speaker, or comic book artist, how did you treat people when you were on your way up? And how did you treat them when you weren't as famous, or your notoriety has not been as big as other people, the new generation? Are people going to remember you? I'm going to use an example.
Okay.
Samuel L. Jackson will always leave a major impact on me, because when I met him, we're talking about right after he filmed here in Philadelphia for Unbreakable. And I was at it.
Yeah.
And he was with his people. I was with my people. I was in heavily in my wrestling career, and I came over to him, I wanted to just pay my respects at the same time, just asking for some advice for acting. And I just remember when I walked over to him and I had a conversation, he was like, "What the hell with that? I want to know what it's like being a pro wrestler." And the rest of that time, we were conversating back and forth. And throughout the rest of the night, when he would bump into me at the club, he's like, "Smoke, what's up?" And I'm like, and really, really humbled. It was really so humbling about it because he was just a person, a person that treated you like a person should. And it always lasts 11. And then, mind you, he is like basically iconic in the sense that he's covered so many. When you hear his voice, you know it's iconic. But if his star was to fizzle out tomorrow, people are going to remember him because from what I hear from a lot of different people, he's one of the most humblest actor you can meet and very down to earth. I rarely ever hear anything bad anyone says about him. And so I'm using him as an example. I met tons of people like that in the industry. So someone like myself, cosplayer, well-known, whatever, I always make sure I stay grounded. Even in the world of wrestling as a pro wrestler, I was fortunate enough to be blessed to work with people and to meet people that I either grew up on, idolized, or I never thought I would end up meeting at all. And I always stayed humble. I never let my ego. I checked my ego at the door. And that's one of the reasons why I did and was able to accomplish the things I did. Now, was I majorly big like Stone Cold or The Rock? No, but people remembered me enough to this day still when people come over to me and was like, "Dude, I got your DVD. Oh man, I remember you when you were doing this and all. I remember when you were on the Jenny Jones show and all this stuff." And so I'm like, wow. And to me, it's like, wow. And because I stayed relevant and because I treated people respectfully. Even as a pro wrestler, what I did in the ring was different outside the ring. When people come in the ring, they were like, "I can't believe that was you, but you're such a nice guy." And I'm like, "But when I'm in the ring, I'm not. I'm
a butthole, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a butthole."
yeah, basically. But like I said, you just stay humble and you treat people fair. You can't be. Not everyone's going to like you, and I'm cool with that. And not everyone, because they might say, "Well, I don't like him." I couldn't care less. That's not my problem. That sounds like a you problem, not a smoke problem. And so
Eric's superpower has the ability to take you down the inescapable blurred rabbit hole and help you become the best.
Amen.
Your mutant ability is shared because you hit on something when you were speaking. How you treat people. In this space nowadays, it's not like when we were growing up where technology was not the focus. It was you got home, you took off your school clothes, put on your play clothes, get out. Make sure you're in the house before the street lights come on. You came home, you got cleaned up, dinner was made, you watched TV, you got to play a little bit, you went to bed. There was a stringent schedule set up because responsibility was due. But Saturday, all bets were off. 6 hours you're in front of the TV. At noon, put on your clothes, get out.
Yep.
Same rules as before. Don't let that. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? Oh yeah, I know where them little niggas are. They all upstairs.
But I think for me, it's for us. We were blessed and fortunate because we had the interaction. We knew how to deal with folks. Now nowadays you got the internet, so people are hiding behind keyboards. So what they would say to you in front of you, what they say online, they will never say in front of you.
Facts.
And what really amazes me, I tell a lot of people this in cosplay, whether I'm on a panel or whatever, I tell them all the time, you're getting into cosplay, have a thick skin. If you're going into cosplay, be prepared because not everyone's going to like you. So you might have 2,000 people that love what you do and 1 or 2 or 3 idiots that may say something crass. Recently, I'll give you an example. I did Absolute Batman. You saw it at Blerdicorn.
Man, you know what? Hold on. You ain't gonna just do this and talk about recently I did. Oh no. That's not how this works, homie. Nah, hold on. Because you are not gonna do this to me. You're talking about recently I did. Yeah, I know what you did recently.
Hey, look, keeping you sharp.
You know why I know? You see this? Yo, y'all see this? This man makes it look easy. You see this, bro? Come on now, sir. Sir, I have to put you on blast because when I saw
Hey, listen, put me on blast. I do not have a problem with it.
this man's ability to bring out characters, especially a character who is what? He's supposed to be 450 pounds in the comic.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah,
pretty accurate. I was doing pretty accurate cosplay. I'll say it like that. And shout out to Mark Da Silva FX for Da Silva FX Design, helping me design. He designed the suit and everything, and we collaborated and all, but he's the one that does a lot of my top tier cosplays and all. So shout out to him. If you are looking for a top tier costume and you can make payments and all, Da Silva FX, that's the place to go. I just recently promoted him on my pages and all. Shout out to him and also Scott Snyder for creating Absolute Batman, because that's one of my best ones yet. But I say this to say, my Absolute Batman went viral. It's Scott Snyder from DC who created Batman, Absolute Batman, loved it. The reactions I got from the artists, animators, all that, they loved it. But you're going to still have those individuals that want to say, "Oh, Absolute Fat Batman," and I'm like, thank you so much for allowing me to live rent-free in your head. One person wanted to go back and forth with me, and since I'm retired, I can skip back and he didn't realize. He was like, "Well, yes, you know that you're doing this and getting into it. You know people are going to comment." I said, "That's just it. If you're dumb enough to keep responding to me, you're absolutely giving me what I want."
Exactly. Exactly.
And when you're doing that, it messes their heads up because they don't expect you. They expect you to break down and, "Oh my God, you made fun of my cosplay. I don't know how." And I feel bad for a lot of these people out here. The young lady that got harassed some time ago, the young sister that got committed, and she passed away. And I felt real bad because I wish I had a conversation with her, because I damn well would have had to talk with her.
Same.
And and encourage her not to let anyone, because you got to understand, when I was cosplaying, or before it was called cosplay, and people have heard this thousands of times in past interviews I've done, before it was called cosplay and I was costuming, or I was that nerd or geek that was wearing stuff back in the 80s, people used to think I was an undercover cop because they called me King on Jump Street, because I'm always changing my gear, looking different and all. One minute I'm looking like Boy George, the next minute I'm looking like, wearing like Ricardo Tubbs from Miami Vice. The next minute I'm looking like a pirate and all. The thing was that I was being me. I didn't care what anyone thought. People that went to high school with me, elementary school, they laugh because the people that follow me on Instagram and all, that grew up with me, that went to high school, and they were like, "Yo, he was like that back then." And they'll laugh and they were like, "Yo, you living the dream." I say that to say that I don't let anyone change or make me change who I am. When I see these young people or these individuals that are cosplaying and they're getting put down because of their weight, the color, the size, the gender, and if I'm allowed to say what I want to say on here, F those idiots that want to comment on it.
Bro, let me break this down to you. Let me break down to you, sir. We grown up in here. On the combo, you grown.
It's a respectable channel, and I'm trying to keep it respectable.
It is respectable, but I want you to speak your mind, because
Marine to me is saying fuck them.
Okay? Thank you. So is the sailor. Fuck the basement virgins. That's what it's all about.
These keyboard warriors, every time these keyboard warriors, and a lot of them are bots. Like recently, I discovered when I see these idiots saying the same thing, out of my 10,000 followers, out of their 200 followers, you think I'm going to really get upset about that? Let alone, why would I get upset, period? The bottom line is, here's what you do. It's called, you take your phone. There's a button. It's called delete and block. When you do that, guess what? They're no longer in your atmosphere. You don't let anyone control who you are and how your life is. Any of you cosplayers out there, take it from someone who's been doing this for a long time. Didn't care what anyone said and anything else. I did what I wanted to do. Even when people were like, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of times they knew better than to say anything to me because they knew they would get knocked upside the head in person. And at the same token, too, a lot of them knew better. They knew to choose life. They knew better to choose life. And so when they want to feel bold and a little froggy, they want to go online. Hey, the Marine in me, I don't back down. And, one person was like, "Oh, well, come on, man, he's just joking." Look, you're dumb enough to make that joke, be ready to get the repercussions. The pendulum swings.
Accept the consequences of being stupid. Straight up.
So all these cosplayers out there, don't let anyone. And it was funny because when I posted that comment to the gentleman, someone else came in and was like, you know what? Thank you for saying that, because I was told when I was doing Batman that I was fat and all, and that got me down. I said, never let anyone deter you from doing something that you love. And and I think that's what the biggest problem in the cosplay world is, that a lot of these cosplayers, upcoming cosplayers, they don't. And this is not being offensive, but you got to have a thick skin. You got to.
Yes.
Here's what I don't understand, Montel. I don't understand that. Why is it that you got thousands of people that love your stuff, that love what you're doing, they love your cosplay, they love your look, and you're going to let 2 or 3, maybe 4 individuals fuck on and shit in your cornflakes because you can't get over the fact that 5 people don't like your shit out of the 10,000 people that love your shit. Fuck them. Okay. And so when I say that, this is the grown folks podcast. So I'm saying it.
That's what we do here, baby.
Whether you're older, whether you're young, whether you're a different gender, cosplaying a character that's not in the same gender or color realm, do what you want, love it, have fun with it, embrace it, make it your own. Because there are going to be those people that are hating it, there are going to be that many more that love your stuff, that love what you do. Don't let anyone take that away from you, because you're giving them that power. You're giving them that power. And it boggles my mind when I sit there and I see some of these people break out. When people talk crap about me, I don't do those screenshots and show. I don't give them that airtime. And if I'm going to do that, I'm a damn well let everyone know who they are. I'm not going to be covering their faces. No, you're dumb enough to make stupid racist remarks or stupid ass comments. You're going to get exposed for the dummy that you are. I have no problem with that. But
what they say: play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
But at the same time, a lot of times I don't even give them that energy. I don't even get any further than when they make their little stupid comment. I might say something right back to them and laugh at them and say, thank you so much, and keep moving. But when they want to come back and I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I'm done. All right, I'll see you later. And I just block them. And I'm moving on. Because guess what? And I know, and everyone out here knows that all the people that you meet out here, when you're cosplaying, the comments that they make, they are going to 9 times out of 10 never meet you. No. Never meet you. And when they see you in person, guess what? It's this. Well,
there are so many out there that, like you said, and you mentioned it quite nicely, they have bravery. They have confidence when they're sitting behind one of these. And the minute they see you in person and you go, hi, weren't you that so-and-so? And you're not throwing any malice or any hater that way, but they now realize they've been put out on Front Street. And this is something that we as Blerds have had to deal with for the longest time. It doesn't matter. And it's always funny to me, and you'll know this as well as I do. Most of the people who insult us don't do what we do. They're not in those spaces. No. And they're the first ones to criticize. And I know this because when I started working at Blerdicorn, we got so much hate in the beginning from people online who never set foot into one convention, period. They never set foot and checked it out. And you've been there many years. I've been doing it for years, and you know what the vibe is. But most of the people that have this type of hate, they don't know what it's like. So they go off of what they hear someone else say. They continue this telephone game. Well, so-and-so said, yeah, but did so-and-so go?
Well, a lot of them are sheep. And they want to get clicks. And so in order for them to get clicks, to get notarized, they do that rage baiting shit. Excuse my language, but they do that rage baiting crap. And I don't fall for it. I just look at them like, you got to be that stupid. There have been people, let me just say this. There have been people that I remember, and I won't give this person any clout, but this person who's known for rage hating and rage baiting and all this stuff, and he's a well-known podcaster. And this is in the early days when he was just starting out. And I bumped into him when I was out in the Star Trek Las Vegas. And I remember meeting him in person, nice guy in person. And I came up to him and said, yo, man, go easy. And you know, you going to go easy on this stuff or what? And he, what, man? What? And I'm like, yeah. And then me and him cracked up. But I'm like, go easy. I said, you don't have to be that much. You don't have to be like that. And then, but he was always cool with me. But then when he went on this little tirade, I just kind of looked at him like, wow, man, the mighty have fallen. And so, but you're doing it for clicks. You're doing it for trying to get notoriety because eventually, and this is where I come back to say, no matter what you do, all this crap that's going on right now, all these so-called MAGA this and all that stuff, and I'm not ashamed to say it, we're going to remember. We're going to remember all you cats out there. Just remember, you might be having your chest out thinking that, in the cosplay realm, you talked all your stuff about black cosplayers, Asian cosplayers, minority cosplayers, trans cosplayers, LGBTQ. Let me tell you something. All you idiots out there that are making these comments, guess what? People don't forget, and people have receipts. So do what you want to do. I sit back, and people wonder why I don't say stuff online a lot of times. I try to keep it positive because guess what? I keep notes, and I do not forget. And I don't care if you're one of us. I don't care if you're outside of us. I do remember. I'm gonna remember the allies, and I'm gonna remember the people that stood their ground. And that's one of the reasons why when I look at individuals, I look at them. I don't look at their color. I look at what did you do? Did you sound off? Did you support? Did you say anything?
What was your contribution to this whole thing? What was your contribution? Yeah, and I'm the same way.
What did you do to help make progress or boost other people in this business? Whether a black artist, a black cosplayer, a person in LGBTQ, someone who's oversized, someone who's an elder. What did you do to boast them up to let people know, hey, check out this individual? Okay, I've done it. And my record states, my record shows, you have done it. You have done it for one of the reasons why I reached out to you and we bumped into each other was because, brother, you talk about giving flowers. Let's give you some flowers.
Oh my God. Okay?
You've been one of those brothers that, look, like myself, have been nothing but a positive entity within the BLERD culture. Okay? You've gone out of your way to encourage, inspire. And so this is why I say, when I look at someone like you, and I couldn't wait to come on the show. I couldn't wait to come on the podcast. I'm like, yo, let me know when. I can't wait. Because I was looking forward to the conversation. But the one thing is, man, you look out and you inspire. So you deserve as many flowers as much as any of the guests you've had. You deserve your flowers as well. So when the time comes and I have you on my show, I'm going to be giving you some flowers as well. But no,
you just let me know when so that way I can be prepared because I don't know.
I say that because, I go all the way back and I dial the clock back and people say, well, when you started back in cosplay, when I got back in cosplay in the early 2000s, the first two people that I really rolled with, and then everyone started coming in after that, Fred Holt, Eric Cooper, Night Seeker. Okay?
Yeah,
those two cats and the pictures. There's pictures of us way back when I had hair and everything else. And so, me, Fred, and Eric, and it was like we were like, you could see us out there. You could see us out there. It was like, how many of us did you see in a sea of? You saw 3 dots, and it was Eric. And then later on, came Brian Gregory. You got my boy Mike. You got all these other cats that started just coming out of the woodworks, which I loved. I was loving it. Harry. You got all these other cats that are coming out of the woodwork. Michael Mason. He was young. I remember he was doing freaking Blade, and he was doing Black Lightning. Yeah. Now, I couldn't be more prouder of him. And so the thing is that, I don't forget about how things came together in the cosplay realm. I mean, and I sit back and I watch and I observe and I'm like, I got nothing to say because I'm just watching y'all. I'm like, okay,
you can't help but be an observer. The story is telling itself. Yeah. All you got to do is just watch.
And the drama that people have, whether it's a cosplayer they may not like because of their viewpoints or whatnot, and I might be friends with them, and because I'm associated with them, and I'm like this, I couldn't care less. That's some high school shit. Y'all want to get caught up because, let me say it like this, if someone doesn't like you, Montel, but yeah, I'm friends with them, that's their problem. That's not, me and you are good. I never understood recently something happened where I'm friends with a certain cosplayer that some people have issues with, and that's one of my rollies. Yo, I've given advice to, and the brother has blown up and doing his thing, and he's learned, he's grown. Okay.
Yes.
And this brother, and I don't have no my Night Mage. I mean, not Night Mage. Hellspawn. Hellspawn is one of those cosplayers that.
Demetrius. Yeah.
A lot of people don't know. We've had conversations on the side, and I help mentor and just giving brotherly advice and all. And the brother has made such.
He has grown so much.
He's grown. But yet you have people out there that want to go back and forth with him of stuff in the past and all. Look, that's your hang up, fine. But then when you're hitting me up and you got someone who hit me up and saying to me, oh, you're going to, and I'm like this, guess what? If that's what I can't be friends with you. I couldn't care less. Bye. Okay. Because you decided that. I didn't say anything. Again, people need to move on and grow up. Okay. And I didn't like the whole situation, how certain things went down, how he was treated on certain aspects. Now, does he walk on water? No, but the brother came a long way, and he's proven that. Just like other cosplayers,
he worked really hard.
Yeah, just like other cosplayers I've seen out there, female, male, people in the LGBTQ, and I've seen them progress. Whether they were at one point on this tier and they moved themselves up and all. I have a lot of respect for. But when you got individuals that want to cause drama and everything else, that's when, and I'm not going to ever walk away from the cosplay realm because somebody wants to bring some negativity on it. You guess what? That's when I'm like, okay, you're off to the side. So I know who to include when I'm doing something positive and bringing certain people together. You're not going to be a part of that equation.
Let's just put you on timeout. And you, again, I want to piggyback off of what you said. There's something about social politics that people want to practice, but they're not reading the room. If you have an issue with somebody, then you take it up with that person. Anyone who associates with that person, they're not your enemy, but you cannot make them your collective enemy because they associate with this person. They don't see what you see. Okay, they probably interact with them on a different level. Now, if it's something majorly egregious or something that's just flat out horrible, that's another story altogether.
Exactly.
But if I have a vibe with you, like you mentioned, Hellspawn, Demetrius, I vibe with that young man. I've seen him work. I've seen him grow as a man, as a father, as a creator. I've seen him grow. He's had to go through some tough situations, but he's still come out learning what he needs to learn to move forward to be better. And that's any blerd in this space.
Exactly.
Especially if you're a creator of any level, of any renown. I've had my come to Jesus moments. I don't know a creator out here who has not had a moment where they have not had to sit back and reflect, wow, I need to do better. That shouldn't have happened. I shouldn't have talked to this person that way. I shouldn't have made that comment. I shouldn't piggyback off of someone else. Don't bandwagon.
Exactly.
But we eat. It's an eating factor. We just all of a sudden we have to eat. We have to attack each other as blurs. It's like, no, the world is already. They're already trying to.
Let me give you an example. I'll give you a prime example. I was a cosplay director for Great Philadelphia Comic Con.
Is it still around?
Well, no, because of COVID. COVID had basically took them out of business.
I was wondering.
Because Great Philadelphia Comic Con was on the rise. And since I was a cosplay director, we were really making leaps and bounds. I was showcasing people of all different sizes, races, and colors, LGBTQ. And so, but when I tried to tell people in advance, hey, look, when I'm in the zone and I'm trying to get stuff done, if I cut you off, please don't take offense to it. And I remember this individual, he got really upset because I'm in business mode. I'm trying to take care of a lot of stuff. You know how it is. When you work in a show, you try your best not to, cut off people and all.
Yeah. But you got a mission. You're on a purpose.
I'm in Marine Corps mode, so I'm like really like focused. And so this individual, he was upset with me about it. And I felt bad, and I reached out to him and all. And so he decided to ghost me. And he thought I was going to go online and talk about him and all. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. And this person's part, he was an older cat like us. and you would think he would know. And people knew this was one of my rollies. But when he decided to do what he did, I was like, okay, but I'm not going to blast him online. I don't need to blast him online. I don't need to talk about this person. This is one of the first times I've actually talked about it, but I'm just not going to say his name because I'm not giving him any clout. But I say that to say, like you said, you learn from your mistakes. And then I went online. I remember when I was doing one of my podcasts and I let people know, like, look, I always will make mistakes. I'm never perfect. I don't walk on water. But when I do, I make it a point to catch myself and reel myself in, or the person that I deal with. So if you got a problem, I tell people, if you got a problem with me, come to me. We'll talk it out. We'll hash it out. So the one thing I've learned that I try to be, the older I've gotten now, especially now in the cosplay realm, I try to get along with everyone. If you got an issue with me, let's talk about it. There have been people that I don't care for and I don't like, but I would never go out of my way to trash them or talk bad about them.
Same.
If you're friends with someone that I'm friends with, I'm still going to support that friend. I might not be in the same spaces as they are with them, but they know, hey, I support you. I just don't support the person that you're around, and they understand. And if that's the case, that's how it should be across the board in the blur spaces and cosplay spaces overall. But a lot of people want to bring that high school idiocy to the freaking realm. And this is where you have the discourse and when you have the drama and everything else. A lot of us old heads, we watch and we observe and we sit back and we're like, Or those cosplayers that at one time we considered allies or we considered cool with us. And for whatever reason, they showed their true colors during
get out of my head.
Black Lives Matter during the time.
Get out of my head.
During this time right now. And we sit back and we're like, okay, people were like, hey, let's do, and I'm like, nah. They're showing us their true colors. Me personally, I don't have nothing to say to them. Let them show us their true colors because now I know how to handle you moving forward. I'm not going to blast you. That's too much energy to put out there. That's too much negative energy. I'm not going to turn around the screen cap and hide your name. And I'm not doing any of that. Who wants to put that energy? I say this to say to everyone out there that you're cosplaying because you wanted to have fun. You're cosplaying because you're out there expressing your fandom for that. So don't get caught up in the drama. Just allow yourself to go to the playground, have fun, and have some fun in the playground, jumping on the swings and all. Because to me, cosplay is our playground. So don't have no one peeing in the playground. You just walk away. When they want to pee, eventually they're gonna get checked. So guess what? I just walk away from them. Like I'm gonna have fun over here on the merry-go-round, whatever the case may be. I had to say this because Montel, this is a lot of pent up things I've been wanting to say.
I would never have guessed. I had no clue of this whatsoever. No idea. How? What? You?
As a veteran cosplayer, when I observed that, and as someone who has put together events, who has had positive events and put together and brought together great positive people and never asked anything in return from any of these individuals at all, period. And to this day, I still do. I do. I've been waiting to have a say in this, just in general. This is not about anybody individually. This is about just putting it out there to the atmosphere as a veteran cosplayer, as someone who has been doing this for well over 3 decades or more, okay, since the 70s, or not 70s, since the 80s, and someone who was one of the few Black people when I would go to Dragon Con, and it might be 4 or 5 or 6 of us, and I didn't care. Like, as long as you respected me and my wife and the people that were in the circles and all, fine. When you start acting high and mighty, like, oh, what are they doing? I'm like, oh, really? Okay, bet. No problem. And that's when I started doing my own thing and having my own little events. Because I'm like, before there were photo shoots and cosplay get-togethers, I had this thing that a friend of mine fondly calls Smoke Con.
Okay.
Started doing Smoke Con because it was with the idea that people of color or minority cosplayers or people of cosplayers that are trying to break in. It didn't matter where you came from. Didn't matter if you were black, white, polka dot, purple. Didn't matter if you were disabled. Didn't matter if you were a trans or gay or straight or bi or whatever the case may be. You were welcome. And my photographer and I, Serious Photo and I, would sit down and we would have them come over to our house. Our doors were open. I had free food, and people can tell you, I had started doing this back in way back in the early 2000s. Before there were known photo ops where you had big cosplaying photo shoots.
Yeah, the cosplay meetups. Yeah.
I started the initial cosplay meetups because there were shows I did that cosplayers weren't getting acknowledged for. There was a show I did, and I swear to God, this is living true. There was a show I did. Some individuals know about this. I was asked to come to this show in New York. When I came to this show in New York, I was asked because of who I was as a cosplayer. Came to the show. One of the owners was like, I'm sitting in the guest room, the green room, because I'm doing all this stuff. So the person comes over, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I was asked to come. Didn't know that he was one of the owners. And I said, I was asked, and I'm just kind of, me and my handler, we're just, oh, you can't be in here. And I said, oh, okay. And he tried to treat me like second rate. Wow. Not knowing that I had a fleet of cosplayers out on the floor that knew who I was, and they all gathered around me. This is a true story.
Wow.
They all gathered around me, was like, Smoke, what's up? I was M. Bison, in fact. This is during the time when I was doing M. Bison. And you know what happened? When that individual saw, that owner saw, you know what he did? He came out with a plate of trays of sandwiches and all for the cosplayers. And he was like, I just wanted to, and he changed his whole tune. After that, I was like, okay, and I had no problem with that. Like, he showed that, okay, I'm respectful. And from that point on, I was on tour with this company for at least 2 years.
Okay.
And so I say that to say, as a cosplayer and who has been doing this for a long time, again, I just believe in the idea of trying to keep it positive, trying to get as many cosplayers out there that want to break in, that want to have fun, because who wants to be that individual in the corner that wants to break out and doing a costume, but they're afraid because of what other people are going to say, what kind of drama they would bring, or what kind of crap they have to deal with. They shouldn't have to. And so, like I said, when I did SmokeCon, when I started doing SmokeCon, it was with the idea of bringing cosplayers together that are starting out cosplaying, having a photographer doing it for free, and having free food. And I was doing it from 3 times a year to 2 times a year, depending on, and we did it on our house, me and my wife, Adia Cosplay. And I'm going to tell you right now, God bless her, because, we had a dog and everything. And I'm going to tell you, we had guys upstairs, we had guys in the basement changing down here. We had ladies changing.
Just so y'all know, you see the M. Bison he's talking about, right? You see this. You see this masterpiece right here. You see this?
Street Fighter coming out.
This man, this is not a tiny dude. Let me tell you, he rocks this, man. Okay, I had to pull it out there because, Colossus, come on, man, come on. This right here, this is my soul right here. This, that's my soul right there. You did that.
Shout out to Bo Billingsley, because that's my boy. He is cool. He's also a fellow veteran. Me and him had lots of talks and all, and it was cool to finally and becoming friends with him and all. Oh. Adia, my wife. Yep.
Oh, y'all are so adorable. Oh. Tell her I said it, and Monta says y'all are adorable. I'm like, oh.
Well, she's probably watching the show right now. She's probably watching.
She's been lurking. She hasn't said anything, so I don't know.
She's probably on the phone, got you on the screen upstairs and managing with the dog and all. But she said she was watching. I don't know if she's going to jump in, but she was watching it. She's definitely watching it.
Sweetheart, if you are in this chat, I expect to see you. Okay, because you are part of the success of this family. Okay, what can I say?
And that's what I said. When we do SmokeCon events, it's with the idea of bringing people together, especially during these times and all. So that's one of the announcements I was going to make. And of course, you're invited. My private event, SmokeCon 2026, will be is officially. I'm announcing it right now. That's going to be taking place in November 14th. More details to come. It's a private event, so it's invite only. But let's just say this. For the people that went, when we had over 40 to 50 people attending, and we also highlighted photographers, cosplayers, podcast. It was a great way for everyone to network. It was free food, changing rooms, the whole 9. So I took it to the next level, and my photographer and I, Serious Photo and I, are now bringing it back. SmokeCon 2026, November 14th, taking place here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. More details to come. Okay. Montel, you already know you are invited. You already know you are invited. And I'll fill you in on the details and all. But yeah, like I said again, but yeah, I believe in the idea of in this community, we need positive outlets, especially with everything going on right now. As a people, what I saw at BlerdCon, it's like it's everything that when I went to give an example, I went to Dragon Con, it was a great experience when the very first time I went back in the early 2010 when I went.
Ooh,
and it was
2012.
It was a great experience for all intents and purposes. You know, I was treated very respectfully, but I didn't see a lot of us. It was like maybe I could count on my hands that many of us spread out. Okay. And so to see an entire event like BlerdCon or J1Con or all these other cons that are acknowledging people of color, people of the LGBTQ, people of all races, sizes, and colors under the title BLERD or Anime Con that is celebrating BLERD fandom. Okay. I love the fact that when you can see that and it's our people, the creators, artists, musicians, dancers, like producers, and you're seeing that under one roof. BlerdCon is like the utopia of BLERD, like BLERD fandom. And so, you know, and it's great when I was talking with Godfrey. Godfrey was one of the guests. Godfrey and I were talking. He was like, dude, I never knew about BlerdCon. Like, man, let me tell you right now. He said, and I told him, I said, yo, how dope is we kind of got a conversation about it. But like he said, a lot of people don't know about it. And I love the fact that now it's getting out there more and more. But also understand that when it comes to something like this, you're going to have pushback. You're always going to have somebody who can give you pushback.
I've been it for years.
Yeah. So me personally, I love to see us, you know, doing our thing and all this stuff. So, you know, my thing is, and also here in Philadelphia, shout out to Jason Richardson for J1Con.
Jason, yeah,
he's one of the first, you know, bringing Anime Con here in Philadelphia and being the black owner of an Anime Con and being with him from day one when he had a con on one day and there was a line and all of a sudden expanded out. Shout out to Lady J Cosplay with her Ranger Station and her X-Men and events and all this stuff. So the thing is, I love the fact that our people are taking ownership and bringing other blurs together and everyone together under one roof to celebrate people of color, people LGBTQ, all that stuff, to celebrate under that one roof. Before, we didn't have stuff like this. We didn't have a variety to choose from to go to. We would either go to the Pacific Cons and hope we get acknowledged for our cosplay. Now we can go to a cosplay like BlerdCon, J1Con, Ranger Station, excellent, and you just walk in and everyone embraces you.
DreamCon. We definitely want to throw DreamCon onto that list too.
Yeah, DreamCon. I never had the honor of going. I hope to go, like, hopefully maybe this year. Again, I say that because these are when I mention these shows, these are individual shows that I've been a part of and I went to or I've been a backer of and all. So again, I say this to say, you know, people out there that are watching this, your viewers that are watching this and all, spread the word.
Yes.
Embrace cosplay. Inspire other people to cosplay. When you see someone getting bullied on or being talked down to, support them. Jump in. Even if you don't want to get into a shouting match with the persons that are making, pull that person that's getting bullied aside. Encourage them. Let them know that they're not alone and that, hey, you got their back. You're there to support them. You know,
I'll go one better, and I'm gonna add to this cornucopia of wisdom and knowledge as you have placed on this table with the best plasticware money can buy. Blerds as a whole, cosplayers, artists, writers, musicians, game developers, creators as a whole should be acknowledged no matter what, because it's not easy in this space to gain that type of respect, and you want to get it from your peers. But for the longest time, we were just trying to get into a space until someone said, why are we trying to fit into their space when we can create our own? And now that we've created these spaces, they're trying to come into the space and see what the big deal is. Okay. There's still rules. Just because you're here does not mean you're going to be the center of attention. You'll be put out quick as a whip. And
as I like to say, mind your manners when you walk in the door.
And you know, and as someone that's been a blur all of his life, the one thing I've always tried to push is that you should never feel bad about your fandom. You should never feel bad about if you're a sci-fi fantasy nut. I know folks who love Doctor Who, Whovian to my heart, Star Trek, Star Wars, Space 1999,
Star Blazers,
Firefly,
Soccer Giant Robot,
man,
Ultraman.
Come on, Tokusatsu all day, every day. Come on, man. All these fandoms, Super Sentai. People say Power Rangers. I like Super Sentai.
Yep, Super Sentai.
That's just me. That's just me. But your fan. Oh, and Battlestar Galactica. But your fandoms should never be compromised because you're worried about what someone's going to think of you. And that was what a lot of us were dealing with growing up. We were trying to be popular, but still trying to be acknowledged. It doesn't always work out that way. It doesn't always work out that way. So you're going to have to create your own world. How many people created their own amazing worlds by simply being left alone, but including those who look like us in those worlds? And now we're 2026, and we're seeing more and more fandoms being embraced by us, and we're still going to get pushed back. We're still getting pushed back now. Heaven forbid, if you happen to be a queen who loves Star Wars, there's that itchy idiot out there who wants to give you a pop quiz. No. The best pop quiz I would ask him is, do you wash? Do you know what toothpaste is? Do you use Irish Spring or Ivory? Because right now you need both of them. And it just drives me crazy. I've always been an advocate of remembering when I was a kid, being that 9-year-old kid who sat on his grandmother's porch reading comics, and I got bullied by the neighborhood kids. I still had the Black Panther in my possession, and I got the scar on my head where they threw a rock at me, but it didn't stop me. All that did was just say, well, if you think what I'm doing is bad, then I'm just going to keep doing it because you don't like it. So I'm not going to just do it to spite you. But look at me now at 57. I do this because I love it. I've been loving it for 49 years plus. They're not going to change, but we're in a culture where people are trying to gain approval. They're trying to get that attention because you like this. Not everything has to be monetized. Not everything has to give attention. Not everything has to be answered. It, like you said before, if someone makes a comment, the minute you answer back, you've given them energy. You've given them kinetic energy for that ball to start rolling. The best thing to do, ignore them. Ignore them completely. Trust us. We as folks of the melanated nation, of the royalty up in here, no matter how light it is, no matter how dark it is, we are still kings and queens that roam this earth. We deal with it all the time from people who claim to know more. No, you don't. You don't. You don't. But there's a question I wanted to ask you, brother. Out of all of the cosplays that you've done, and you've done 7 billion of them, so we're going to put that out there. Is there one that resonates with you as a blerd?
Wow, that's a good question. There's those ones that stand out. One of the ones that really hit me on a lot of different levels, I will say, because I was doing it before anyone else was doing it, was Isaiah Bradley.
Oh,
so let me give you a little background story on that. We're talking about 2002, 2003. I was approached here in Philly representing for Marvel. And this is before internet and everything was really hitting. Social media was hitting. I was asked to be Isaiah Bradley for the new comic book, Red, Black, and White Truth book about Isaiah Bradley. And they did a whole news thing. They were like, Joe Costada came out and they were like, we want you to be Isaiah Bradley. And at that time I was like, hell yeah. Had my buddy Nero do the airbrush on the shirt because I wanted to look exactly like the first cover that Joe Quesada did and everything else. So the thing was that when I did that, okay, there was a lot of fanfare. Newspapers came up, Philadelphia Inquirer. You had news media that came up. It was a whole major thing. That shield that was made for me that you see in the picture right there. That's my third incarnation of Isaiah Bradley. I've done like 4 to 5 different versions of Isaiah Bradley. There was a newer suit I actually did that's more close to this. So the thing was that when I did the first incarnation of him, a lot of people didn't know. They were like, well, who are you doing and all? When I started breaking in, getting back into cosplay, I was doing Isaiah Bradley, representing Isaiah Bradley with Captain America. And so fast forward, Captain America and Falcon and Winter Soldier came out, and they introduced Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, watching it, seeing it on the screen, I was shook in a good way. Like, oh my God, like this is somebody who I've been doing for years, and he's now finally getting his flowers. Shout out to Kyle Baker, who put that, who was the one that wrote the story with Joe Quesada. The fact that they were able to tell the story, and you felt something when you watched Carl Lumbly's performance as Isaiah Bradley, as us as veterans, that really hit a lot of. I don't know how it affected you, but it affected me as a black veteran, who served, and his, him, the way he felt, and everything, how they treated him, and everything else. And I was just like, so moving forward, I got a new version of Isaiah Bradley, the new look of Isaiah Bradley. I'm wearing the muscle and all. I had the opportunity to meet Carl Lumbly, and as Isaiah Bradley, not just as Mantis, but that's another story, but also as Isaiah Bradley with Corey Morgan. And
Corey, that's my brother. That's my other brother. Let's go.
So Corey was Sam, and I was Isaiah. But we both go over to Mr. Lumbly, and we had a straight 10-minute conversation with him. And I wanted to thank him because and I was telling him as a veteran, I was like, just telling him how much of an impact, not only him as an actor, but him doing Isaiah Bradley, how much of an impact. So, if out of all the cosplays I've done a lot of different variations of that, still to me always will have a profound effect over me because of what the character means to me, the legacy he's left, and how it continues on, and also being able to meet the actor who's playing as him, and he did a hell of a performance in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So, again, that cosplay, any cosplays I've done, I used to do all kinds of cosplays. So I didn't care. I did Superman or Captain America or Batman. People looked at me like, oh, I did Captain Marvel. I remember people were like, man, you look just like Captain Marvel. You're doing the whole thing with the lightning bolt. And again, this is people I grew up watching. We grew up on and all. So the fact that I was able to do those characters, profound effects on me as cosplays, doing those cosplays that we grew up on as kids, G-Force,
man,
so one of my profound impacts, putting together a group of black cosplayers, all of us as G-Force, Brian Gregory, Wendell, my wife, my boy Ron, and Brian Gregory, and we did G-Force. And we even had the chief with us. We had a guy who's it's on my Instagram. You look on my Instagram, you'll see it on my Instagram.
My goodness.
And again, this is stuff that we did deep cuts. I love doing deep cuts. When I did Hayata from Ultraman, and I'm wearing the actual uniform, had the helmet. Shout out to my boy Johnny B. Props for making the helmet.
I saw that.
Again, I do
so
deep
beautiful.
I do deep cuts. Falcon, a Blue Falcon. When I do people are like, well, who is this character? And I love it when I'm like trying to explain it to them who these characters, or people from our generation that recognize who I'm doing, they're automatically like, oh my God. Or if I'm doing Star Blazers, and me and Brian doing, he's doing Derek Wildstar, and I'm doing one of the pilots from Black Tiger Squadron, and people are like, holy crap, oh my God. Like,
goodness.
Again, Robotech or Macross. When I did Roy
Mhm.
Falker, and my wife is doing Claudia. Again, if you know, you know. And
Mhm.
so those are kind of cosplays, those deep cut cosplays that a lot of people had to scratch their head and who are you doing? When I did Mantis, do you know a lot of people that don't know who Mantis is?
Yeah,
And
I've had these conversations all the time.
look, let me show you something. I had to explain. I had to explain. This is yeah. There you go. If you go scroll down, but I had to explain. Now I'm gonna give you a quick story on this one. On this one right here. So here we are. We're in the '90s. Mantis comes on. The pod. We're not talking about just the series. The pod episode. It comes on, and I remember this is before superheroes really started taking shape. Before Blade came out and all, we had Mantis. And
Mhm.
I remember when the pod episode, this is before Black Panther and everything. To me, these movies were inspired. Black Panther Blade was inspired by Mantis because, again, this show was everything to me. But a lot of people don't know about it. And then they watered it down after the pod episode because Fox felt too threatened that it's not gonna, so
Yeah.
they got rid of a lot of the characters that made the pilot what it was. And they watered it down. So
Mhm.
but it was still a good series, because you still had a black lead playing the
Season
superhero.
1 was great, but then they did season 2. Season 2 was just flat out.
I felt, and I told Mr. Lummy this. I felt that they did Mantis dirty at the end. I feel that he could be revived. There's the way to revive his character or do a reboot. But when I'm so basically, I cosplayed the season 1 version of Mantis with the black suit. I had my buddy Johnny B props help me make the suit and all. And again, a lot of people didn't know unless you came up in my era, our era. A lot of people didn't know who I was cosplaying as. So here we are. There was a friend of mine, David Zarinsky, when I would cosplay, I do research. So I go online, I research costumes, how I want the costume to look and everything.
Mhm.
So when I research, I'm like, oh wow, this person has the original suit. I'm like, okay. I sent the pictures of Johnny. We and him sat down. We collaborated. We came up with the concept of what Mantis was going to look like. Moving forward, I meet this gentleman, David Zarinsky. David Zarinsky owned the original Mantis suit.
Wow.
Okay, he bought the suit off auction because he knew people from the show. He was able to get the suit.
Mm.
When I met him, it was on a fluke because it was a James Bond event, and we were and he was like, "Oh my god!" He said, "I love your cosplays. I love your Mantis." He said, and then he says, "I own the Mantis suit." When I saw the Mantis suit, I was like, "Dude, I used your pictures as reference." Okay, so. So moving forward, when that happened, I was like, okay, when I heard that Carl Lumbly was coming last year to Baltimore, I think it was Awesome Con.
Okay.
He was appearing. I was like, I said to myself, well, I want to meet him as Mantis. So I was basically going to do the version that was based on the pod episode. So David sends me pictures. I send it to this designer who specializes in designing like stuff on the 3D printer. She sends me to print the files. I printed on my 3D printer, sized it up, and I had to remember that Denny Colwyn, from Milestone, he was the person that designed the Mantis suit that a lot of people don't know about. Denny designed the suit. So I had reached out to Denny. I sent them pictures. I was like, and I met Denny the same time I met Carl. I met Denny. We got pictures and all, and Denny loved it. He loved the look and everything. And so when I take the time to put love into a costume, especially of a character of color that had a profound effect, or people that don't know about the history that are now learning for the first time, it's really something. So I love doing these characters. I love doing all types of characters. I remember when I did. I used to hate when I was as a nerd. I used to hate when people not knowing any better, mind you, so I'm not going to hold it against them. But, you know, the first thing they said, hey, you ever thought about doing Luke Cage? You ever thought about doing the typical black character? Because they were black.
Mm-hmm.
And I would get asked.
Yep.
I remember when the Daredevil with Ben Affleck came out, Daredevil movie, and Michael Clark Duncan did Kingpin. Everybody and their mother, yo, you gonna do Kingpin? And I was like, nah, why? No. But here's what I did. Years later, decades later, who did I cosplay as? Vincent D'Onofrio's version of the
Kingpin.
And that went viral because I looked like them. I made it, you know, I mean, when I said I brought that character to life, people were like, holy crap, you're the Kingpin. And it was all in facial and just, I want to get the vigilantes. I do this for you. And I want to get rid of all the vigilantes out of New York. But no, I had so much fun doing Kingpin. And it went viral. Marvel took time to take notice to it. Vincent D'Onofrio. So, yeah. And then, like I said, then there's those costumes and characters that I love doing, like Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
And Spawn is one of those characters because, again, cosplaying him before anybody else was really breaking out cosplaying him. And I remember Night Mage, Mike Night Mage.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah, I know Michael.
Yeah.
Excellent dude.
Mike and I go back, and when people used to confuse me and Mike because they would think he's me or I'm him, and especially because we did Spawn around the same time. But the thing was that I was honored to be a part of the 20th anniversary for Spawn's HBO Spawn. I had a chance to do stuff with John Leguizamo, Todd McFarlane, Michael Jai White as Spawn, and so to be able to that Urban Action Showcase, and so to be able to do all of that, like again, these are characters that had a profound effect on me. So like when people ask me what characters I love doing, it's a mixed bag because I love doing every character that I've cosplayed either has a story behind it or has a profound effect. But like I said, Isaiah Bradley stands out with me, especially of current years, more than anything, because it was one of those early cosplays that no one knew about, and before it really made history, you know, Marvel history, and I was a part of that history, you know, and also being a DC comic book character, comics as Freight Train, and that's a whole nother story in itself. That's another character that has a profound effect on me because basically I'm cosplaying as myself from the comic books. So it's when Dan Denny at the time, who was the owner of DC or running DC at the time, made me an official character for DC. A Freight Train from The Outsiders. You know, he's like, you got the last name, but what really took it to the next level is when they did Black Lightning, the TV series,
which I love to this very day.
So
I love that series.
Like towards the final season, they did a version of The Outsiders. With Freight Train, they made a female version of Freight Train, but with the same name as mine. Instead of Eric, it was Erica Moran. I remember people hit me up and said, well, how do you feel? You know, I was like, I said, I had no problem with it because my twin sister, her name is Erica. And on top of that, my twin sister was one of the first Black women as a colorist that worked for Marvel Comics and worked for Marvel back in the early 90s as one of the first Black women to work at Marvel. So I was like, hey, kill two birds
that's dope.
One stone, you know?
That's dope. And it was funny is when you mentioned Isaiah Bradley, that actually falls in sync with me because my first official cosplay going into that journey was Eli, and people kept asking me, why did you gravitate to Eli? I said, Eli is a character that has story. He has history. There is family. His grandfather is my Captain America. He was the first Captain America. If you look at the stories of how they created the serum and who they tested on, goes back to the Tuskegee experiments. And a lot of people were like, are you really? Yeah. Yes. You think Steve just got the serum and it was already ready? No, just like any chemical out here, anything medicine wise.
You wouldn't test it on a blonde, blue-eyed kid. You're going to test it on people that are affected in the urban neighborhood. So
exactly,
black soldiers.
And so when I got that cosplay, my friend gave it to me. It was DragonCon 2012 because I said I wanted a cosplay. He says, "Well, I've got this," and as soon as he gave it to me, the wheels started clicking. I said, "I get to cosplay one of my favorite characters, and there's a reason why I want to." And to this day, even though I have this, don't worry, I can hide.
I'm going to ask you, are you going to? Because then that way, I know in the future we can team up with Isaiah and you doing Eli.
Man, it would be an honor to do a family photo shoot.
You get Corey to jump in on it. Man,
Bro, me and Corey, man, say less. Y'all have no idea how much family has been built in this community and how many of us understand the struggles of being a blerd. I am chatting with a brother. He is family. This cat right here is family. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, if he ever reaches out to me and says, "Montel, I need what we gotta do," okay, I ain't got much, but I got Crisco and I got a bucket. We can figure it out. We'll figure it out somehow. But in this landscape, and I tell you guys this all the time, your family blood is amazing, but your chosen family is epic.
Yes.
Because your journey, you're going to meet people that are going to influence you. They're going to inspire you. They may even be there at your worst of times. They'll be your lifesavers. They'll be your superheroes. They'll be your therapists, whatever it might be. And if you build this community, you build this family, they will continue to be your family regardless to what you go through. And even though there are people that I may not have the opportunity to meet yet, but I understand what they've gone through and I understand their struggles. They're family as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
This cat right here, this young man right here, this is family. This is family. But him, Corey, oh my gosh, the list goes on and on. Fred, the list goes on.
People have given us the title of elders. They've given us cosplay elders. So
we're not unks anymore.
We're known, like the ones that you just named, including yourself, myself. We're known as cosplay elders. So I take that as a compliment. All I keep thinking about is Captain Marvel when they had the elders on the thing. Solomon, you smoke, Montel, Fred, Corey. That's what I think. Brian, and I'm
say all that together. What you gonna come up with? I don't know. This lightning's gonna strike. We did our job. Oh my gosh, my man. Let me and I said this before. I'll say this again. You have been such a magnificent influence in this community.
Thank you.
I have seen when you move in spaces. I've seen the respect and love and adoration that you earned. You didn't demand it, you earned it. And that's something a lot of people out there need to understand, that in this space, especially nowadays, I want to earn your respect. I want to earn your trust. I want to earn your love and, most importantly, and earn your heart. Because if I'm going to these spaces, I want to know that I'm surrounded by people that get me. They understand me. If I speak on this, they understand it. I don't have to throw a massive diatribe out there. You are one of those folks among everyone else who's been there for me. And I will say this going forward. I don't care what it is. You have my number. You know how to reach out. If you say, Montel, I need. Okay, it's going to take me 6 hours to get to you. Can you hold on? It's going to take me 6 hours. Okay, because I got to go through bridges and shit. But I'll get there.
Yeah, I'm the kind of person that you will never know that I help this individual, that individual, because I never talk about it. I'm like, it's the idea of being able just to help people. I don't ask for respect. I give respect as long as the thing is about me. I'll respect anyone as long as you give me the respect back. And I'm not expecting anyone to kiss my, and the one thing that people got to realize, just because you're like this with somebody, you can't expect them to think like you or to be like you. Hope for them to be elevated to be on that level like you. So like what I might do for some people, those same individuals might not be able to do the same. I don't hold that against them. And I don't say, well, I did this for you. Why can't you do it? Because not everyone is cut the same way. We all had different upbringings, but we all had a love, like because we had a love for cosplay. We have a love for the pop culture realm. We have a love for our fandom. It's cool when you can be in a room full of people.
Yes.
And where you all are talking the same language. It doesn't matter what background you come from. And you can agree to disagree, but yet at the end of the day, you all agree that, hey, we love this fandom. We need to get back to that.
Yes.
Instead of trying to cause division and being divided as fans. You know, I don't knock someone if you saw a card, if you're seeing, let's use Invincible. You watch Invincible, but you're a fan of it, but you never read the books. I'm not going to knock you because you didn't read the books. I'll educate you, and we could talk about the cartoon show, and I'm like, and the person, we hope the person that's watching the cartoon show, well, and you're like, well, wait a second. In the comics, it was like this, but it's something you need to know. Let me fill you in. And I educate them, but I'm not going to ram them because they're only going by from one source. It's just like when you're watching Star Wars or you're watching Star Trek or I'm using Deep Space Nine, and they only go by what they've seen or heard, but they never watched the series. So I have to be the one that say, well, Captain Sisko, you know, him being, you know, because they're like, well, you know, when I hear the word DEI or woke and all, and I'm like, really? And I have to, and I said, because that terminology has been demonized, I say to people all the time, I said, define what it means to be woke. Define DEI. Not what you heard, but what does it mean to you?
What is your definition of it?
Yeah, and to let them in on something. I said, let you in on something. Everything we grew up on was woke. And the reason why I'd rather be awoke than asleep. So, you know, why would I want to be asleep on something that I can learn? I'd rather be woke.
Come on, man.
I'd rather be woke and know. So I'm proud. I'm proud of for me being woke, I wouldn't be able to treat the people that come across my path, whether they're black, white, polka dot purple, gay, straight. So when I hear an individual being short-minded saying, well, that's woke and that's DEI, whether it's people of our own color or people outside of our color or realm or whatever you want to call it, you need to be educated, know what you're talking about, because you sound foolish. You sound foolish. So when I say that because something happened along the lines, whether it was social media, whether it was a planned, and I talked about this with this other gentleman. I said, I think that some of these companies, movie companies, caused the division because they were purposely jamming stuff down people's throats and let up instead. Like, we never had a problem with Sigourney Weaver being the main lead in the Aliens movie. We never had, we didn't have a problem with Sarah Connor.
No, she was our Ripley, yeah.
When you had a black character. So when did that become a problem? Well, it became a problem when people tried to highlight this and throw it in everyone's faces instead of just letting people just gradually accept, like Doctor Who. You and I being Doctor Who fans. I'm sure you're a Torchwood fan. Did you care that Captain Jack Harkness was bi or gay or whatnot?
No, that was part of his character.
Exactly. And I was like, look, I want to cosplay as Captain Jack Harkness. In fact, I have. I say that to say I didn't care because all I cared about was the story and how good of a story you wrote. I didn't care that the person was gay, black, polka dot woman, male, female. Didn't care.
Doesn't matter.
All I cared about was the story. And I think that somewhere along the line we got away from that. And it became a thing of division within the fan pop culture. Because think about it like this. The powers that be saw that pop culture brought people together. Pop culture brought everyone together. It didn't matter what background you came from. If you were like, hey, man, I'm down from down south. Well, man, I'm from the streets. But, man, I love that Captain Kirk. Yo, man, Captain Kirk was the bomb. All of a sudden you have a common ground and y'all are talking stuff out. And y'all you find that you have more in common than you don't, than you did not having in common. But then you have the powers that be come in and say, well, I want to instigate on that. So I'm going to find a way to say, well, the reason why we got a crappy story because you got a black lead and all this stuff, and it caused division. And instead of using that, instead of saying it's just bad writing, you're going to blame the person of color or the woman or the person because he was gay or she was gay.
Yeah.
And it caused division within pop culture because pop culture, what? It brought people together.
Mm-hmm.
Pop culture was the bridge that brought fandom together. Star Trek majorly played a part in that, brought people together. And so, same with Star Wars. You know, you didn't have this when we were coming up. You didn't have all this division.
Nope.
And so, you have to ask yourself, when did this start? Social media, yeah, it plays a large part in it. But someone was saying, and then you had those individuals that said, well, I can capitalize off of negativity. I can capitalize off of, I can make money and instigate situations and blame that on DEI or being woke. Yeah. Since the governor of Florida started the woke thing as a negative, yeah, I'm gonna, and like I said, I sit back and observe. I'm like,
There are so
as
many
you get older, and I'll say this to everyone out there: as you get older, you'll generate a power called X-ray vision. You'll start seeing through a lot of people's bullshit. And as I've gotten older, I see through a lot of people's bullshit. I just don't say anything because nowadays when you go online to say something, and you brought up a good point, when you go to say something online, people want to get on their soapbox and argue you down to show you that you're wrong and they have a right way. And I'm just like, no, I'm just dropping science. You can take it and you can either run with it or you can try to argue with me with it, but it's not going to change my mind. It is what it is. You have to deal with facts. And this is why we're at the climate that we're all right now, because it's been so much division. Mm-hmm. It's a division not only in the world, but in our fandom. We had all the shit that was going on back in the day with Russia and the US, but guess what? Our fandom was straight. We had fun. We didn't it wasn't a whole bunch of discord like it is right now. So
we've seen a lot of culture theft, because once upon a time, Superman, for example, if you were caught wearing a Superman shirt, you were a nerd, you were a dork, no one cared anything until Christopher Reeves came out as Superman. And then that fandom started growing and you started attracting people who now they want to embrace this, how Superman he embodies strength and power and everything else, but you're missing the point.
Yep.
You missed the point. People gravitate to this because as a comic book character, people like the stories that were being written about Superman, about Batman, about Captain America. The comics came out for Star Wars. Remember, Marvel was doing their run for all the movie premieres. They did Raiders of the Lost Ark, they did Dragon Slayer, and they did Conan. They were doing that. And you started seeing people gravitate to this, but the wrong people were trying to do it and try to claim it for themselves like it was always theirs. No, this is for everyone. It doesn't matter.
What I loved about it, it's kind of funny as you mentioned, again, growing up on Christopher Reeve, but when like you said, when people were saying, "Oh, you're a nerd because you like Superman," but yet Man of Steel comes out, all of a sudden Christopher Reeve is the gold standard, right? And then everyone was dogging Man of Steel. I love Man of Steel, loved it. They were like,
I enjoyed it.
Superman killed Jor-El, but I'm like, but if you remember in Superman 2, he killed Zod and them by pushing them off a thing, but people forgot about it. Well, it really didn't happen. One kid tried to argue with me for Batman versus Superman. Well, Batman used a gun. No, he didn't. He used a disarming mechanism to disarm everyone in the warehouse. He was shooting at them. And then I was like, you can't be this stupid. But again, I sat and I digress. But now we got James Gunn's doing Superman now, right? Mm-hmm. What's happening now? Oh, well, Henry Cavill was the gold standard Superman, and Superman Man of Steel was better than the James Gunn. And I'm sitting there like, now granted, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. You can have a love for, and I have no problem with that. But when you start saying, as it's the written scripture, as if, Man of Steel was the be all the end all.
It's the implied gospel.
Yeah. And I just kind of sit there. Why can't we just have any kind of fandom of our love for Superman of any version and just agree that, hey, as long as Superman still is about truth, justice, and helping people and getting back to, people were all shocked when Superman picked up a squirrel and saved the squirrel. Superman was always like this. What is that?
Your perception of him changed.
Exactly. So I say that and I laugh at people because I'm like, well, maybe it's just me, and maybe I was just blessed to grow up in the era that we grew up in, and I have better clarity than a lot of other people. And I have to also look at it like this: some people never were exposed to things like we were exposed to, you know.
Yeah.
And so you try your best to try to educate them, but sometimes they have blinders on. They don't want to learn that there was a history before this character. There was a history before that, and this character, even though we don't care that the character evolved, we still know his general origin. Like you got X-Men, and there's been variation. Like John Byrne's X-Men was always the gold standard to me. But anything that followed after that, I'm like, okay, X-Men that came out in the 90s. I liked it. I wasn't crazy about the animation, but I liked it. It was what it was. But then when they did X-Men 97, they took it up a next level. Yeah. Live action movies. I'm like, well, they weren't wearing the costume accurate costumes, but they kind of hit it on the money as far as their characters.
Yeah.
Okay, I got what I got. But because I was happy getting what I got back in the day with the Incredible Hulk, you know, where you have Bill Bixby, Bill Bixby, yeah. It was a confined story. In my lifetime, as a kid, I was like, how cool would it be if the Incredible Hulk teamed up with Thor? Then we get the Incredible Hulk teaming up with Thor, and he's got a little hammer. And his little hammer, and he's like walking around like a Viking. And I was like, well, how cool would it be if they were comic accurate and all this stuff? And what happens 10 years or 15 years later? We get the Avengers. So, again, we came up in the era where we were blessed to get a superhero on a TV screen. The fact to see him on a big screen and people taking it seriously, but at the same time, wow, this discord.
Oh, see, now, I know you will remember when Spider-Man came out on TV.
Oh my God, I got the figure. I got this 1977 figure on my wall. In fact, we have a thing called RetroCon here in Philly. And the original actor that played Spider-Man is going to be one of the guests here at RetroCon.
Oh, that's what's up.
So I'm like, dude, and Kim Field's mom, she played him in
Chip Fields. Yep, Chip Fields.
Yep. So that's why I'm like, oh, dude, I'm please. I'm like, you preach to the choir. Remember when Doctor Strange, he had the curly afro? You forgot. He had the Mike Brady curly afro. See, if you know, you know.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, I got one for you. Remember when they did Captain America and his mask was a motorcycle helmet?
Yeah, right.
It was a motorcycle helmet.
Okay, so I'm going to break this down to you. So I had the honor of being in a movie called Surge of Power Where There's Smoke. Okay? So I had the opportunity to work with some of the top tier veteran actors that you and I grew up on. So from Michelle Nichols to Michael Gray that played as Billy Batson. I had John Davey who played one of the original Captain Marvels.
Yeah,
my godfather. So I'm doing scenes with him. You had the voice actors that did Wonder Woman. The original John Culp who did Doctor Doom and the original Fantastic Four, Roger Corman's Fantastic Four. I'm working with all these, Robert Ricardo, Tim Russ. I'm working with all these skilled veteran actors. And again, for me, I'm in the green room and we're changing and we talk. And in the back of my mind, I'm like,
wait a second.
You realize, and I'm talking with Michael Gray, and I'm like saying to myself, do you realize how much of an impact you're like the little kid, I was reverted back to a little kid sitting there like, I'm sitting here with Captain Marvel and Billy Batson. I'm sitting here with Wonder Woman. I'm sitting here with Dr. Doom. And yes, we are showing our age. I don't care.
Yeah, you know, but see, Matt,
proud.
But see, Mal, he's part of this collective right here. Because when you mentioned,
Mal should be jumping into the conversation with us.
Because when you mentioned Shazam, some of y'all are. I'm gonna have to break this down real quick. Some of y'all don't understand that our Saturday mornings had live action shows, and those live action shows were just as synonymous as the cartoons. And I know Eric will remember. NBC had a show called Big John, Little John. Remember that? Okay. So remember the kids from Caper? Okay. So, so Shazam was staple for us on CBS because as soon as that intro came up, you see him going, Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, Mercury, Billy Batson and his mentor. I mean, we knew the whole speech.
Yep.
And when he said Shazam, you felt that chill go through you. That was when it was amazing television. And we
that was peak.
That was
Saturday morning peak.
and
And on top of that, which you don't hear anymore, they had morals at the end. They teach you whether it's He-Man, Captain Marvel, Isis, Captain America. Like, dude, that was the other thing I loved about Saturday morning. Cartoons and all. A lot of these shows have morals, but Fat Albert, hey, today we learned that you don't take people's fried chicken away from them unless you want to fight. No, hold on, stop. Let me stop. That was wrong.
You were so wrong for that.
but
I won't put you on timeout, bro. So Schoolhouse Rock for you, man.
Oh, man, Schoolhouse Rock. I mean, again, you hear the song come out, and and what really killed me was when they were singing Conjunction Junction. Come to find out that the whole time this man who was singing you thought was a black man.
Nope, white dude,
this old white guy. And I was like this. I said, well, he's coming to the barbecue. Like, dude, you have a lifetime membership to the barbecue. Oh my God, Sesame Street. I tell people all the time when it comes to Sesame Street, they gentrified the neighborhood. Look at the HBO version of Sesame Street. They gentrified the neighborhood because the neighborhood was already a mixed neighborhood. But you notice Elmo took over the spot. It was more or less the Elmo show, and then Elmo became a hater because Elmo was hating on Rocco.
Yeah, he had to watch Rocco.
I said, yo, when did Elmo become a hater? I'm like, that's not good morals to teach kids. I remember when Mr. Snuffleupagus remember he was an imaginary friend.
Yes, and only Big Bird could see.
Yeah, and then they had to do an episode because they saw that when kids are trying to tell their parents something, they didn't believe them. And so when Mr. Snuffleupagus became true, and I remember seeing that episode, and Big Bird was like, F all y'all, I'm mad at y'all. And they were like, Big Bird, you gotta get over it. And Big Bird was pissed. He was like, man, I told y'all for years, y'all didn't believe me. And
I've been trying to tell y'all.
Yup. But you learned something from that. Rocco, what did we learn so far? Elmo's being a hater on Rocco. So that means you got to hate because he's an inanimate object. Well, what if Elmo in real life, what if it was a real Elmo in real life and Rocco was paralyzed? And so what you're going to say? He's paralyzed. So, he's just paraplegic. And I sit there like, wow, like Rocco became a hater. I mean, Elmo became a hater. You
see the philosophies in television. Like you said, back then there were lessons and morals at the end. Even G.I. Joe had them at the end. Every episode, G.I. Joe, Mask had them.
Yep.
At a certain point, Transformers did. And it was a few other shows. And we don't see that level of pride in the young generation anymore because technology has made people lazy. I will say this until I am no longer able to speak and I learn sign language. Technology has made people lazy. They've made them entitled. You expect to pick up your phone and watch this video or anything like that. And I said, do you remember a time where Dukes of Hazzard came on Friday night? You didn't get to see the next episode until when? Next Friday night. It taught you patience. You talked about it. And then when the episode came, it was an event to sit down with the family watching TV and everybody singing the theme song, just a good old boy.
Yep. I will say that now. Let me just say this. Like shout out to Robert Kirkman for Invincible because if you saw last week's episode, no. I'm saying that he paid homage to kids like us growing up.
Yes, he did.
You had Optimus Prime and Megatron in the same room together, and the beginning of Voltramite. I was like, oh my God! I'm like, it's Megatron and Optimus. I'm like, it's Peter Cullen and Frank Walker. I'm like, holy shit! I was like, yo, and they talked about it. They were like, yeah, they were paying homage. So I love that. But I'm going to say this, okay? You mentioned AI, okay? People are pitchforks and torches with AI. Here's my thoughts on AI, and I have to say this. To me, AI is a tool. I don't feel that it should take anyone's jobs away. I feel that
Agreed.
just like visual effects, this should be utilized as such. Now, I say this because in the right hands, it could be used properly as a tool and everything else. And I don't like it that, yeah, it's taking away people's jobs and all. But with a lot of technologies that are coming out, it was like that when computers came out. And I remember when the computers came out, people were losing jobs. So people working on the print machines lost jobs. People that worked the typewriters, typists, lost their job. They had to learn how to, and so I say that to say AI is going to be here to stay, unfortunately, but AI needs to be condensed down to not all these, and people leaning so much on it. Now, with that being said, I will say this. Sometimes it can be used to your advantage because you get to have moments where you can hope and dream that maybe one day you can see something like this come to life. I say that because yesterday, when they announced the whole Doomsday Avengers trailer, there was something that got put out. You had Jonathan Majors' Kang. I don't know if you saw the video. Got put out right at the end of Ant-Man Quantumania. You had all the Kangs.
Yeah.
Well, they did a continuation of it where it was a continuation from that scene, and Dr. Doom shows up. And the way they showed it, you thought it was going to be. They should have put this in. They would have gave Jonathan Majors a comeback in a sense. They would have, and then something like that where you're showing the potential of what could have been. That's where I'm like, okay, I don't have no problem with that. When you're showing something that, hey, here's an idea that you could bring to light. Let's go back like with Deadpool.
Okay.
When Ryan Reynolds was pushing Deadpool, right? And he did a whole CGI Deadpool sitting on the thing, and it kind of got out there in the atmosphere. All of a sudden, they want to put together the Deadpool. The franchise came out for Deadpool. So I say with AI, if you're going to do something like that, do something where you can propose, hey, I propose this what we could have had if you had Jennifer Majors come back and show an AI form. Like some of the Star Wars stories that are done in AI are done classy. I loved it because we will never get a chance to see Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, and Carrie Fisher together. So you have people that were telling their Star Wars stories through AI and showing them all together. Lando and the voices, and the work was done classy and respectful. If you're doing something, you're not making money off of it. You're just showing something that you came up with. That's where I don't have a problem with AI. It's when you're just putting together crap. Now, some of the stuff is funny. I'm not going to lie. Some of the stuff is funny. But I'm not one to be like, we should take people's job. As an actor, when they had originally, when they had the SAG strikes, proposing that, they would use my image, for example. I signed my contract. They use my image for anything else in the future, for background or whatever. I would be like, hell no. Pay me.
Because you'll use me and you won't, even if you say, okay, well, we'll pay you for this. No, because I'm giving you license to just degrade and deform my image and to perverse it, to pervert it for anything that you're looking for. Meanwhile, I'm not getting anything on the return because you're using my image.
Right. And you're abusing it. That's where I have my issues at. When you're abusing something like that, that's where I have my issue. But if you're using it in a way that's going to inspire, help other people, and you're doing it with a little bit of class, and you're not taking away anyone's job, but you're just telling something you want to, and I love some of the original stuff that people use with AI. Like some people are telling original stories using AI. I don't have a problem with that because that's just another form of just trying to get your story out there that you'll never get a chance. As someone who is a film producer, who have done everything from Doctor Who fan films to Star Trek fan, having a Star Trek fan film, having Stan Lee appear, and I'm the only cat that have Stan Lee appear in a Star Trek fan series for me. Doctor Who, The Orville, Star Wars, Predator. I've done all these different Judge Dredd, I don't have a problem if you are creative enough to use AI as what it's supposed to be, as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
But don't abuse it. Like that's like taking Adobe Premiere and taking our images and putting our heads on someone else's body and knowing damn well whether it's all muscles or all sagging and all. I'm like, yo, again. So
That's
again,
crazy.
I look at AI as a tool. I had to put that out there because, again, sometimes we have to come to realization that, hey, man, it's people were saying this stuff about the internet. They said the internet was going to be the downfall. It was going to cause a lot less jobs and all, and they got more jobs. But now people are abusing social media and all that. That's because the powers that be want to make a profit off of us. I go down that rabbit hole. I don't care to, but again, I can get deep on this stuff. Because I have X-ray vision.
I will piggyback off what you said real quick. I don't mind AI used as a tool to conceptualize an idea, to see if what you're writing down can come to fruition.
Exactly.
My problem is if you take AI to create something, you say you made it, and then you publish it or you broadcast it as if you toiled in front of a writing tablet, because now you're insulting artists, or in front of, you're creating this story, which is an affront to authors, whether you are established or upcoming. Use it as a tool it is supposed to be for, but it should never replace human ingenuity. It should never replace human creativity, because at the end of the day, a tool is just a tool to create an idea that the people can embrace. But if that same tool, it cripples anyone who doesn't use it, now we have a problem.
Right. And most importantly, if you're letting people know it was infused by AI, that's the other thing. If you're letting, now, like you just said, if you're telling people, oh, I did it, and not say you didn't use AI, that's where I got a problem. Acknowledge the fact that, hey, this is AI, this is inspired through AI. Then that's when I'm like, okay, cool. You're because someone can, like you said, someone can easily create and write a story and say, well, this is their story. They wrote it on paper. They came up with the idea. They want to see how, like you said, they want to see how it looks. If I'm like, okay, a boy went across the street, he fell into a hole and a pool of superhuman goo, and he had superpowers. And then I type that up and I show a kid walking across the street, falling in the vat, and he has superpowers. That's something that I did create because I wrote it. Now, as far as the graphics and everything, I'm using the AI as a tool to show my story as I'm telling the story. Mm-hmm. That's like so if you're narrating a story, you're like, hey, a man went across the street to grab a can of spray to make art on the wall. And you see the character walking, and you typed it up. You saw the character walk across the street, grab the spray can, and then painted something on the wall, but made the Mona Lisa. Mm-hmm. Okay, an exact replica of Mona Lisa. Then you're going to say, well, I did that. No, you used AI as a tool to make you do that. What came out of that was out of what you wrote, but AI brought it to life. So make sure you acknowledge that AI did, because, again, I don't like the fact that AI, I think it's gotten better, but I don't like that. I didn't like the fact in the early days that AI was using other people's art.
Yeah.
That drew the line, because I'm like, there are artists I'm friends with that work for, major, that I would be insulted to see an art of one of my friends' work because someone, did. And again, I understand that they're doing an interpretation. Like, I don't mind that people are doing animation through AI of us as people of color as anime characters, because we may not ever have the chance of someone other than the independent writers or independent artists, but be able to just say, okay, I want to see myself as an anime character. I want to see Navy Montel as an anime character in the world of Dragon Ball Z. All right. And I see you as an anime character, and I'm like, oh shit, this is what he would look like. Yo, that's dope. I'm a descendant to them because I'm like, yo, this is how they would picture you as. So I say that to say, again, you utilize it as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
You don't make it as your. It's just like anything else. Internet, cell phones, social media. You utilize it as a tool. You don't make it as your. I got to look at this every 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds. Again, utilize it as a tool. But again, I came up from a different generation.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And here's the thing, Montel. We can ask it. This is how you know you're dealing with people that are sound. Say, if I took away your cell phone tomorrow, could you read a map? Can you show me how to
Let's go. Pull out the Rand McNally. Let me go across the country. Okay.
No, I had to do that when we had Liberty. They had Liberty. We pulled out the map. A whole bunch of us got in the ride. We were heading down 95 South. Seriously.
There wasn't no map quest. Nah. There wasn't no ways. Nah. Nope. You had to pull out the map almanac, and you had to that atlas. You had to look at that bad boy and go, okay, we're here. We need to go that way north.
And God forbid it wasn't an updated map, and God forbid it was construction. Then you had to figure out how to get around the construction.
Bro, see, y'all don't understand the struggles that we had to deal with.
I listen, I can read a map. I know how to cursive write.
Same.
And someone pointed up a good point. They're like, you know why they stopped teaching cursive writing? Because the Declaration of Independence, you know what that is, right? It was cursive writing. So they keep us from understanding what the Declaration of Independence and can't read it. People like us can read it. You know what I mean? Because we understand cursive writing. I can go deep down the rabbit hole.
We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that.
I go down deep down the rabbit hole, man. I have you said we talked about this behind the scenes. We were like, yo, we're just gonna have a conversation. I'm like, look, I'm having a conversation because I'm comfortable just talking about anything and everything with you. And I'm just like, look, I just come out of left field with some stuff. Like, you know, Bigfoot had beer with me the other night.
Yo, I got my catcher's glove. I'm out there in left field, like, okay, I got it. I'm gonna throw it right back at you.
No, I like what Xavier Cross said. I said I write my name in cursive. My signature is fire. That's what I'm talking about.
Xavier was probably taught by his mom. I know his mother very, very well.
You have a gift. Teach that gift. No, I'm serious. Teach that gift. Let people, because again, it's something that is a missing art. It's a cursive write. I can. Everybody's like, what the? I'm like, oh yeah. Same. Oh, I love it when I signed autographs. It was dope because I'll be like, the smoke. It's beautiful.
How'd you learn how to do that? We was going through school, ladies and gentlemen.
It's called learning. It's called an education.
It was a privilege to go to the computer lab. It wasn't mandatory.
It was an education.
It was an education. Eric, this has been so dope, man. I cannot thank you enough for coming on here tonight. The passion that you bring is always infectious, and I love it. So I'm going to put you on the screen. I want you to tell everyone where they can find you and show you love, sir.
Well, a couple things. One, if you love video games, if you love talking about video games, myself and two other great hosts, Mark Knuckles and Civic Minded, we have a series called Pass the Controller. We're about to celebrate our 100th episode coming up later this year. Pass the Controller. Check us out on Facebook. If you want to find anything that I do, check my YouTube channel out, The Smoke 007. All one word, The Smoke 007. I got upcoming events coming up, upcoming cosplays, upcoming videos, upcoming fan series. Plan on bringing a lot of stuff back. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, The Smoke 007. If you want to do any research to find out about my wrestling career, about my acting and everything else, I'm on IMBD. But the bottom line is, if you want to find out anything else, just do a Google search. Eric The Smoke Moran. And a whole slew of stuff will come up, from cosplays to wrestling, pop culture, acting, movies, TV. It's all there. And again, Montel, I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show. I hope I can come back on the show. I love this. Man, I
Bro,
feel
you got a permanent invitation. Don't be tripping. You tripping.
And again, one more time, November 14th, private event, the Smoke Con event. It's hosted by yours truly and Serious Photo. There's going to be celebration of photographers, cosplays, video games, free food. It's an all-day event from 11 to 6. November 14th, on a Saturday. Free parking. It's the bomb. Taking place in Philadelphia. If you need to know more information, contact me directly. Other than that, bring your positivity hat on because it's all about that. Montel's going to be going, so he's going to be talking about it when he goes.
You know I am, bro. You know I am, man.
He'll be like, yo, he was like, you want the sequel to BlerdCon? This is like the sequel to BlerdCon. It's like BlerdCon, J1Con, all these other cons, DreamCon, all rolled into one. Man, Smoke came up with. Look,
oh shoot!
I just learned to be. I know when to lead. I know when to follow. The only way you can be a good leader is if you know how to follow first.
Mm-hmm. That part.
You know
that part, y'all. I want y'all to do me a favor. I want you to follow him. Go find him, support him, elevate, and continue to put this brother out there because he works really hard and continues to love the culture. If you want a shining example of someone who loves it, unapologetically, you got two cats right here. But we talk about him. All right, we're talking about him. But don't look around. Everybody, please do not forget to support your Blerd businesses. Go out there, support your Blerd creators. Go out there, support your Blerd cosplayers of all levels. Continue to be the beautiful Blerdicorns that I know y'all to be because I created the word. So I need y'all to do that. So
one more thing. Shout out to all those cosplayers that I had the honor of meeting for the first time at BlerdCon and any other con that I have attended in the last couple of years. Shout out to all the photographers that I had the honor of collaborating with. Yeah. To all the prop makers that have helped me put together and collaborated with me. To all my fellow other cosplayers that I've collaborated throughout the years, my fellow elders, all that. Thank you all for bringing positivity. Shout out to my wife, Adia Cosplay, and shout out to all my friends and family out there that have shown throughout the years the love and support independent writers, artists, actors. Mm-hmm. Support them. Spread the word. Whether you post or repost something that they've done or shared or talked about, share it. Talk about it. Let people and their friends know. I know you can't do everyone, but hey, you do one a month or one a week or one every other week. Every little bit helps. Help spread the word.
I couldn't have put it any better myself.
And cosplay whoever you want. You could, it doesn't matter what color, size, shape, or gender. Just have fun. No negativity.
I couldn't have put it better myself. So, in the meantime and in between time, as I tell all of you beautiful, sexy people to do, please continue to do this for yourselves, your fellow Blerds, this amazing cat over here, and all the other elders out here, and yourself as well. Stay nerdy, stay geeky, and please stay sexy.
Peace and hair grease, y'all. Peace and hair grease.
Deuce and love. I'll see y'all on the next Blerdicorn Convos. Y'all take care.